Good morning, Sissy. You look fabulous.
Thank you. You too, Madonna.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, it's finally happening. I'm finally getting to meet you in person, like in person virtually, and actually talking to you. And I'm also grateful that you took time to be talking with Tech Talks with Madonna. I know everybody. So we do have sorry to like deviate a little bit, but we do have a big GDG community here in New York, and everybody now when
hmm
they see me, they're like Tech Talks with Madonna. Come on, making fun of me or what? All of you
But
have
it's
to be on my.
amazing.
I know, and then I tell them all of you have to be on my podcast anyway. So
Yes, definitely.
okay, back to the topic. Do you mind introducing yourself to us?
Yes, of course, Madonna. Well, my name is Cecilia Geraldo. I prefer to be called Ceci, it's shorter. Now I'm currently in my first job in tech. I think I am in this job for almost 2 years and a half, maybe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied computer science, but I didn't get to finish it because of money problems.
Oh my God.
So,
That's
so
just
yes,
like me
I,
too.
yeah,
Go on. Sorry
well,
to cut you off.
yeah, no worries, no worries. This is
Hmm.
a conversation. It's
That's
better
true.
if you comment. So well, I always knew I wanted to study in the tech field because my father was a computer engineer.
Hmm.
So I was a little bit curious about how computers worked. So I was like, okay, I want to be in this field. So when I was a teenager, I fixed computers, cell phones. I was always like formatting computers, hacking
Oh, I
things,
like that.
hacking. So yes, I was very inspired by tech field.
Yeah.
So when I got into university, I knew this was my thing, but the money thing came.
Wow.
So I was unmotivated studying
Hmm.
because I needed to find a job that has like well paid.
Yeah.
But because I haven't finished my career, I didn't get the chance to
Mm.
work in the tech field.
Yeah.
So when I was in this problem, I had a friend who did Laboratoria, that is
Okay.
a programming bootcamp for women,
Hmm.
and she started talking to me about Laboratoria and what they did,
Hmm.
and actually it sounded like very amazing, suspiciously very amazing.
Very dreamy, you would say.
Yeah, very dreamy. Yeah, that was the word that I used. Yeah, very dreamy because they said that
Hmm.
you can get into, you have the chance to pay after you finish,
Wow.
only if you find a job in tech. So this was
Amazing.
the first, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, my friend encouraged me to apply,
Wow.
and I did apply, but the first time I didn't get
Yeah.
in.
Hmm.
So I was telling my friend, hey, maybe this is not for me.
Hmm.
Like I already applied and I got rejected. And she told me, Ceci, you should try again.
Amazing.
And she was always by my side in that time. I was in a very bad time,
Yeah.
personally speaking.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, you can do it. You can do it. Try it again. So I did.
Wow.
I tried a second time a few months after, and I finally get in.
Wow.
So this experience was amazing, amazing.
Hmm.
We did like a 7 month boot camp,
Hmm.
and after that, I could find a job. Now I'm working in ThoughtWorks,
Hmm.
um, and it was very, very amazing to have the possibility to be in the tech field without having like a academic career,
Yeah.
because it's very typically culturally speaking, like
Hmm.
your parents said to you, hey, you have to have good grades in school so you can apply to a good university, and then
Yeah.
you finish your career and you find a job, you buy
Yeah.
the house and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I was with that mentality, like, okay, I need to finish my career, but the context didn't uh, didn't allow it.
Yeah.
So after doing Laboratoria and entering ThoughtWorks without a career finished, it has been pretty amazing, like for
Yeah.
real. I never imagined my life like this. I
Wow.
never I never even dreamed about this.
Wow.
I didn't knew it was possible.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a little bit of my background, and I always I always talk about Marjeline, who is my
Yeah.
friend who
Yeah.
inspired me to get into Laboratoria
Yeah.
because of her company, of her pushing me like, do it, Ceci, do it.
Wow.
And now I'm here.
Well,
Almost 3 years later, I'm here. Very,
so
very grateful in tech.
that's so amazing. So first, I want to say I've come to realize that when we have cheerleaders that actually cheerlead for us, it really like motivates us. And I feel like that's what you've talked through. Like somebody was pushing you to follow your dreams, even though you got rejected, but then you're like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pursuing this particular dream. I really love that. And I feel like that's not only you. I feel like many of us are like that too, where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm giving up. But then you have this particular person that's pushing you like, you know what, you got this. Even if you it
Mhm.
might be your mom, your friends, or your relatives. But I do love that. I really love your story. I mean, it's so unique, it's so perfect. Thank you for sharing that with us. And also the fact that you followed your dream even after rejection, that was also amazing too. And actually, because you're talking about rejection, this is a question that I like to ask because I think I do. I'm always active on Twitter, and I did see somebody mentioning that they applied to over 1,800 jobs in tech and didn't get anything, and then
Mhm.
they decided to quit tech. And to me, I thought that was very sad. I mean, I didn't respond because most of the time it has many threads, and I'm like, I don't want to
Mhm.
respond to and to because I maybe my words wouldn't be right. But I was just
Okay.
wondering for you,
Mhm.
how do you feel like you've handled failure and rejection? Like, how do you approach that?
Mm. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think I don't have like a only answer, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, in my experience, I think one variable that is been always like permanent, it's support,
Yes.
community,
Mm-hmm.
mentors, role models.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was alone in that time when I got rejected, I probably shouldn't apply it again, you know?
Yeah.
So I think in that experience, Marjeline was a crucial part of me getting another chance.
Yeah.
Even if I got rejected again,
Yeah.
uh, she was there for me. And I think in these almost 2.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's a thing that you should like get used to it.
That is
Try
true.
to lose the fear
Mm-hmm.
of rejection or failure.
Yeah.
In Laboratoria, we had like a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
It's do it,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have fear, do
Mm-hmm.
it with fear.
Oh,
Like
wow.
don't be the fear stop you.
Yeah.
Instead, convert it to the fuel. Because
Yeah.
the fear, those fears are never leaving.
Oh, they won't
We
leave. Mhm.
we start to getting used to it. We start
Mhm.
to living our life with our fears
Mhm.
and try every time to face them.
Yeah.
Um, for example, when I got I applied to ThoughtWorks,
Yeah.
um, I was like very skeptical because I
Yeah.
saw there were just two spot available.
Oh, no.
And yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember the trial of LinkedIn Premium.
Yeah.
So I could see how many people has applied to this job.
Oh, wow.
And were more than 200 people. And I was
Wow.
like, no,
Out of
no.
200, how am I gonna make it?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna make it. And I also saw the job application in other pages. So
Mhm.
there were more people applying.
Yeah.
And in that time, I was still in Laboratoria. It was my last month, I think.
Mhm.
And all of my friends of Laboratoria, all of them were, Ceci, you will get it.
Yeah.
Ceci, this job is for you.
Wow.
They were always believing in me, even when I couldn't do it for myself.
Wow.
So that's why I think the answer to the question is to have this
Mhm.
support network,
Yeah.
like to have a community. That's why I think it's so important, like this instance, like doing podcasts, talking
Yeah.
about our life, our experience, because maybe someone, when they listen to us, they say, oh, that that also happened to me, so
Yeah.
we can relate, we can find maybe some advices for other people experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we need to get used to it. We
Hmm.
need to stop seeing failure as a bad thing,
Yeah.
because failure at the end of the time, it's like an unexpected result.
That's true.
You applied for something, you wanted this result, and you had a different one.
Yeah.
So a failure is a different result that we were expecting, but it always came with some learning.
I
So
love that. Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's better to change the way we see failure and rejection. It's
Yeah.
different opportunities, different results, and a lot of learning.
Oh, I
So
love that.
fail fast and learn fast. That's like the the phrase that we in ThoughtWorks use a lot. Like, if you fail,
Hmm.
fail fast, so you can learn faster. So
Yeah, that
don't
is
be
so
afraid.
nice. Oh my God, I really love that answer. And I feel like it really touches too many things that I've also gone through. Like failure doesn't define you. And it actually, in every success story, there's always failure too. Like everybody that
Hmm.
has a success story, they definitely have their own failures too. Like I
Uh huh.
failed a couple of interviews, like let's say 10 or 15 or 20,
Hmm.
but I definitely got the job at the end of the day. So it is roughly to say tech is definitely difficult to get in, but definitely people do get in. And I,
Hmm.
I wanted to ask another question where I wanted to ask you because we're talking in the same theme of getting to
Hmm.
tech, how you got in, and actually, as you mentioned, you didn't have any like a degree, right? Background,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, what would you say like your biggest accomplishment is? Like, I feel like there's a
Ooh.
big story here.
Yeah, I think like my biggest accomplishment. Wow, it's a huge question, huh?
And
Uh,
this can range. Actually, I also forgot to mention you're a Women Tech Makers Ambassador. That is pretty big to me.
yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I think one of my biggest accomplishment. I think it's a work in progress. I
Mhm,
think
yeah.
my first big accomplishment was to get into my dream job, that it was ThoughtWorks,
Yes.
because when I knew about ThoughtWorks, I was still studying. I was in my first year.
Mhm,
It was like an event of women in data science, and ThoughtWorks was sponsoring that event.
mhm,
And that was 2 years before I got into Laboratoria.
mhm.
So I knew ThoughtWorks. I heard the speech of equity, diversity, and inclusion, and I was
Yeah,
like thrilled about it. I was amazed, and I told myself I want to get in. I,
yeah.
I want to work there.
Mhm,
But I never knew how my story was going to change. But
mhm.
I still did it. I'm
Yeah.
in ThoughtWorks, and it was like a very surreal thing. And after that, I think all of my accomplishments are because I have a very good network support, or support
Wow.
network.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people that they are making company in my journey.
Mhm,
Um, they are always like present. If I need something, I can go to them, ask for some advice. They
yeah.
have more experience than me. And one thing that I struggle a lot, even though now I'm very aware of it, is
Mhm.
with the imposter syndrome.
Yes.
I knew it in Laboratoria.
Yeah.
They presented to us the imposter syndrome,
Mhm.
and I felt a huge relief when when I knew that it had a name. Like, it is something.
Yeah.
More people struggle with this. I'm not crazy.
True, everybody does. It
Yeah. So it has been like that's why I told you that it is a work in progress,
Mhm.
because I am aware of it. I can now identify the imposter,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still struggling with it. I'm still with fear of rejection or feeling
Yeah.
that no, I don't know anything. So I think one of my biggest accomplishment about that is to be aware of it
Mm-hmm.
and to spread the word about it.
Yeah.
So more people can know that this thing exists,
Yeah.
that we all struggle with it, and how we can manage to have our day-to-day life,
Mm-hmm.
with the imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
but not letting the imposter to take uh
Over.
protagonism, yeah, to take
Yes.
over. You just slam the door in his face.
Wait, you say it in his face.
Yes.
He has a gender.
Maybe, yeah. The imposter, yeah.
That's funny. You did say something very important actually that I'm actually loving now, which is the power of your own words. You did say you wanted to work at ThoughtWorks and then you got a job there. So actually sometimes our words are pretty powerful. So
Hmm.
like say I want to work somewhere and definitely you get there and you're like, I didn't think this would happen, but it's happening and now you have imposter. I mean, come on. You
Yeah,
spoke power into working there and you got it. That is so
yeah.
amazing.
That's why I also think that you said something very important. It's like
Mhm.
power. Words are so powerful,
Yes.
and even that apply how we treat us.
Yeah.
How we have like our auto concept.
Yeah.
How we speak to us in our mind in the mirror. Like when the imposter get in and I'm saying I don't know anything, people are
Mhm.
going to find out that I'm dumb, that I
Oh,
that I that, that
yeah.
that I got here just because I'm lucky, not because of my effort and my skills, no, because I'm lucky. So when you start thinking those words, you start to believing in them. So
Yeah.
I think it's very powerful to have like maybe a mantra, like
Mhm.
I'm powerful.
Yes.
I have learned a lot. I'm learning always, like I have the strengths, I have the skills, I am putting effort into this. I'm not
Yeah.
lucky. I'm just harvesting.
Mhm.
Yes, harvesting my in español in Spanish is like cosechar lo que siembras,
Yes.
like like so I think words are very powerful, very
Yeah.
important, and we should start utilizing them, like
I love it.
as a
Mhm.
tool of empowerment. Yeah,
I really
empowerment.
love that because actually that's something that I also do to myself too. Like say
Hmm.
I am my own cheerleader. That is to mean that and
Amazing.
I keep saying that because sometimes I do feel down, like, okay, am I good enough? Am I hitting the goals I should? But then somebody actually mentioned on a previous episode that success is those little hugs and that little appreciation that you get. And it actually hit me like, actually, that's very true. And that's why I normally
Hmm.
say I am my own cheerleader because I don't want the imposter to overweigh my thoughts because that's going to happen anyway at the end of the day. Like,
Hmm.
oh, especially if you don't finish your work on time, you're like, I'm done. I can't do this. I am not good at it. I'm never good at it. But when it works, when it works though, it's like I'm actually good at this.
Yeah.
I'm a coder.
It comes the hype, like the hype of energy, like yeah, I'm very cool, I can do this.
So so that really helped me realize that actually in programming, when you're a software engineer and you work on a complex project, is that things will work at times and sometimes they won't work. It doesn't mean that you don't know. It just means that the complexity is different. And then
Yeah.
I think also during that time, you also have to be kind to yourself and approach it in different caution. Like it's a learning process and I'm continuing to learn. And actually, I want us to dive a little bit on the tech side. And I
Hmm.
want you to tell us about your tech stacks and what do you do a day at work. And please don't go into just like in depth. Just if,
Hmm.
in case of any confidentiality, just go like where you assume that nobody knows about what your tech stack is, and you're
Hmm.
telling a baby like, "I do this at work, and it's fun." Just explain it to them like
Okay.
a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah, 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 okay. Mm. First of all, I finished Laboratoria and I had like a profile of a front-end developer.
Mm-hmm.
Laboratoria was based on JavaScript,
Mm-hmm.
so I became to working with React and Next.js as frameworks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now, after these 2 years and a half, I um, focused on have more width,
Mm-hmm.
amplitud is in Spanish. I forgot some words.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can also
So
mention it in Spanish. I'm okay with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So yes, now I am like a full stack profile still in JavaScript. I
Mm-hmm.
use Node.js for backend.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting into TypeScript. I think
Yeah.
that is a very good complement to JavaScript.
Yeah.
Um, and now actually I am starting to learn Android and Flutter because
Wow.
guess what?
Yes.
Madonna, you inspire me.
Really?
Really, really.
Okay.
Because for people listening, we talked before and we had like a little bit of spoilers there
Yeah.
then. So yeah, I I got into the Android page into Google Academy and I'm starting to learn a little bit of Android
Oh my God. I
and
feel like
Flutter.
at the end of this podcast, I'm gonna
Mhm.
convert everybody to Android.
Yes, yes, probably yes. Yes, because now as a woman tech maker ambassador, and we had the experience also in the summit of LATAM that I talked to you
Yes.
about. It
Yeah.
was last month in September. We have like a huge summit of GDGs and women tech maker in Latin America.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, now I'm not currently in technology of Google. So
Yeah.
where can I start?
Mm-hmm.
Like my background is more like web
Mm-hmm.
developer,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's very interesting mobile. I know a little bit of React Native,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I really think that it's a very good knowledge to have to
Yes.
be a mobile developer and a native mobile developer. So that's
I
very
mean,
cool.
that's a very good point. And I feel like there's a lot of we need definitely more women in Android, definitely. And there's so much great content right now, like
Mhm.
provided by Google, that the collabs that they provide, the documentation is
Yes.
super grateful. I mean, you already looked into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
And
was
I
it?
saw
It's
it,
pretty
it
good.
was, yeah, it's very good. So even though I know a little bit of mobile, when I was reading the document, they have also free courses in Coursera, like to
Yes.
have the beginners program in Android. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing. I think it's very powerful when you have the information, like it's
Yeah.
very accessible and it's there. So you don't need a degree, you don't need to go to college to know mobile developing or even web developer or
Yeah.
every technology is right there.
That's
Like people
true.
like you, Madonna, start talking about technologies, start inspiring people and start creating communities. And
Yes.
as I told you, like in the first answer, I think community is the thing that it's the factor of success
That is true. That's a very good
in
point.
in a journey. Yeah.
I love that. And I really love that answer. And I feel like that's a very good point because when I studied Android back in the days, we didn't have a lot of documentation, but I didn't give up because I really enjoyed Android itself. And also, I just want to mention to the students at university, they
Hmm.
shouldn't be discouraged to continue pursuing your degree because I feel like
Yes.
degrees are super cool too to have. And also, the ones that
Exactly.
are going through boot camps to continue the
Hmm.
path. Everybody definitely has a different path, and I definitely appreciate all of the paths. Myself, I'm like,
Totally.
go for whichever path
Yeah.
you want to go. Yeah, so I'm always a part of yay,
Exactly.
yay.
Yeah, definitely. I think every person should do the
Hmm.
should choose the journey that fits them. If it is
Yes.
like you said, if it is college, if it is a boot camp, if it
Hmm.
is both of them, if it
Yeah,
is self-learning in the internet, it's
Yeah.
okay. I think the most important thing for me is to be like a
Mhm.
full-time learner,
Yes.
like always learning. That's I really like that.
I really love your attitude because that's the attitude you need for Android and any other kind of software engineering job, I
Yes.
feel like. Always learning. Because if you don't enjoy learning, it's going to be pretty hard. I feel like it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, learning it's a very, very important thing, but
Hmm.
also spread the knowledge
Oh,
that you are
yes.
getting, because I think the knowledge is
Uh,
not knowledge if you
yeah.
don't share it.
Hmm. Oh my
I
God.
can learn a lot of things, but if I don't share
Mhm.
with other, if I don't share even my experience learning,
Yeah.
I think that's the power of learning, to spread knowledge.
Wow. I just see a new Android GDE over here.
Um, let's talk in a few years. Maybe, yeah. That's my goal. I mean, that's my goal. That's
I
my
mean,
goal.
oh, I didn't even know that was your goal, but that's an amazing goal because the idea of learning and sharing is very important because that's how you learn more. Because we
Hmm.
learn more when we teach, like
Yeah,
spread that knowledge
totally.
and then yes. And then there's so many there's so many things that are running on Android, like the
Hmm.
auto, the wear, the what else? The TV, like other specified things like let's say Mirror or Peloton. So there's a lot of job in Android. I
It
didn't even.
is.
I'm surprised this turned out to be like an Android podcast today. But I'm glad to know it. You got really inspired by Android, and I'm really happy that
Yeah.
you liked that path too. Definitely. I mean, I'm very happy for you.
I got very inspired by you, Madonna.
Oh,
Actually, yeah. Telling me your story about being a GDE, also contributing to the community, seeing your YouTube channel, uh, uh, this instance to talk with people. I think it's amazing. So yeah, I got thank you for having me here and for
oh,
having the chance to talk with you, because you really inspire me.
thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the
Mhm.
talk. I am very grateful to have you as a guest. And also, I do want to mention you mentioned that you're starting a new chapter in Chile. Do you want to
Yes.
mention that?
Yes, of course. We are starting our Women Tech Maker community in Chile.
Hmm.
Now, currently, we're three ambassadors,
Hmm.
and we are start planning events for November. So
Nice.
we are talking with the speakers. We are going to make a call for speaker.
Amazing.
So if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are focused on Spanish content,
Yes.
because as we know there is a lot of content in English, but we are trying to focus on Spanish content.
Yeah.
So yes, in Instagram, I think I can share with you the social media, because I'm very bad at spelling in English.
No problem. And I do know a couple of great Spanish GDEs already. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I know a couple of people that can definitely love this. So then we
Yes,
can collaborate together.
amazing.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much again. And also, you can watch this on YouTube and also listen live on our podcast. That is Apple, Spotify, and also Google. Thank you very much, Ceci. And it was an honor having you today.
Thank you, Madonna. See you soon.